Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic, debates, entertainment. We'll give you guys a first perspective on things. And now we see them, and today we got a hell of a show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. You want to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. You want to follow the channel, same name as the channel, DREAMERSPRO. If you want today's full show before it comes out on YouTube, it's streaming for free on the DREAMERSPRO podcast. We have pinned below. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So this is a continuation of a topic we produced about, I'm going to say 4 or 5 days ago. Essentially, we produced a show that was centered on some comments that Vlad had made about Taraji P. Henson, where she had come out and basically expressed her displeasure of the way she had been, the way that she was being treated in Hollywood, given her tenure, given all the movies that she had done. And she found it, she made it seem as if she was basically scratching and clawing to still get a foothold within the industry. And it was something that really, that actually brought her to tears. So what we want to do is want to quickly play what she had to say here. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show just to give you guys some context. So take a listen to that there.
And I heard on the street, Taraji, you had the audacity to say you're thinking about stopping acting. We said, stop talking. Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. And when you start working a lot, you know, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up, there's a whole entire team behind us.
Yes.
They have to get paid. So when you hear someone saying, oh, such and such made $10 million, no, that's not, that didn't make it to their account. Know that off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%.
That's right.
Okay? So do the math. Now we have 5 million. Your team is getting 30% or whatever your team is off of what you grossed.
Sometimes
not
more.
after what Uncle Sam took. Now do the math. So
You're tired.
I'm only human, and it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired. I'm tired.
So you heard what she had to say. So she put out those comments, and Vlad basically took it upon himself to basically try to shut her down and say, oh, no. There's no need for you to complain about the industry. If it's that hard, go out there. If you're unsatisfied with the way things are, go start your own, go do your own movies. You know, go come up there with your own production lines and all of that stuff. You do it for yourself. I mean, on top of that, you're living in a $6 million house. Nobody feels sorry for you. You should be able to do it for yourself. And some of the people began to push back on Vlad. Some of them were some of his guests. Matt Hoffa pushed back on him like, Vlad, listen, bro, you don't have the answers, number one. Number two, what you're saying does not discount the fact that what she's talking about in terms of a systemic issue, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, right? It doesn't mean that just because you're saying, oh, stop complaining about it, that doesn't mean that what she's saying is not true. He said that T.K. Kirkland was on his show, and he basically explained some of the struggles that African American actors and actresses have to face in Hollywood when trying to get fair compensation. And we even produced the show. We talked about an article featuring that was centered on Hattie McDaniels that talked about the challenges that she had to face in the industry. So I got upset with Vlad because he's acting like as if this is something that doesn't exist within the industry. So what happened? This morning, I turn on my computer and I see an interview from one of his guests, Michael Jai White, who's a regular. He comes there at least 2 or 3 times a year. And I think his most viewed clip on that channel was the one where Vlad asked him the question of, how would you have responded if Will Smith did what he did to Chris Rock, if he did it to you on on the Oscar stage? That video, I believe, has about 6 million views, if I'm not mistaken. So Michael Jai White brings in a lot of eyeballs to Vladtv. So I tuned into this particular clip here, and in this clip, was centered on the comments that Taraji P Henson made, the one that we just played for you earlier in this show, and Vlad was then interjecting his response to what she had to say, right? And what he was trying to get was the reaction or gain an understanding of what Michael Jai White was going to say. And it turns out Michael Jai White 100% agreed with Taraji P Henson. So for those of you who didn't hear what he had to say, I want to play what he had to say for you now. We're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to that.
The thing that's on everyone's mind, and I have a role in all this, as we'll discuss in a little bit, is the whole Taraji P Henson thing.
Okay.
Now, did you see the interview that she did?
Yes, I did.
Number one, what'd you think about that interview?
Well, I mean, my heart went out. I mean, I do recognize as an artist, like another one that's, not appreciated, but there's so many of black artists are just not appreciated, and that just goes with the whole industry. Just recently, I saw an interview with Terrence Howard. Right. Her counterpart, who's been a co-star of hers for a long time, is essentially the same story. But I thought I commented at one time on the fact that Terrence had gotten such little money for Hustle and Flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that just, that's par for the course. That's what happens. Sometimes you're doing these things to increase your visibility and, give you more opportunities going forward.
Yeah, he got $12,000 for starring.
$12,000 for starring in that movie, which is egregious, right?
Yeah.
To some level, but there's things that you weigh out in particular parts of your career that you're going to do that for the sake of the long run, right?
Yeah.
But I understand someone like Taraji, who's been around for a very long time. It's like, man, it sucks when you have to sing for your supper, right? I know this all too well, and I warn a lot of women, a lot of female actors that this industry comes takes a lot of your blood in a way, and you got to really love it because it's not going to love you in a number of ways. Because it's called show business for a reason, because it's business when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And now someone like Taraji, I mean, like, she is an amazing performer.
Agreed.
And one of the things about her is that she uses herself as a vessel for us all. And that's where her strength and talent lies. Even though the reality of the situation is that, if that was my sister, she's my little sister, I'm like, we're going to get a team to create avenues for you that befits you. Of course I come from that world, because who was going to write Black Dynamite but me, right? So, but here's another thing though, but you can't put that on them. Like, it's kind of like a thing. Well, I go back and I think about, like, I remember back in 97, I had this conversation with Angela Bassett. And the fact that she was so exalted and so revered, but yet she wasn't getting the roles that she wanted, or the respect that she felt like she deserved, and she was right. And I was really trying to encourage her to get these things produced for herself. Well, okay, cat's out of the bag. Angela Bassett and I used to date. Okay, so I remember at the time, her response was, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't have to do this. So and so doesn't have to do this. And I said, yeah, well, it's this is a different circumstance, and you know how we're treated, and it's going to take a little bit more. Now, that was a weird thing to say. Like, that's something from a male perspective. Like, we're talking about, okay, having to do these things. I mean, of course, it feels unfair for Angela or Taraji or anybody to have to step to lengths that no other white counterpart has to step to, right? It's really disconcerting. So, but also, we gotta be careful as, like, people like you and myself. I mean, we're guys, right? We forge forward. We kick down the doors. We have to do that, right? That's kind of our work ethic. Can't put that on. I feel like that's a little rough on an actress.
So you heard what he had to say. This is no surprise. The only person that's surprised by this is Vlad and people that agree with Vlad. Obviously, the people talking about the issue that are experiencing it, obviously they're going to have a firsthand knowledge of it, and they're going to know more about it than the person who has never produced a movie, never sourced resources to make a movie, never directed movies, nothing like that. Obviously, they're going to have more of an insight. So for Vlad or anyone holding the position of Vlad to argue against the people that are actually experiencing it speaks to the level of arrogance that you must have. How would you know what she's saying is true or not when you yourself have never been in that position? And I'm talking about the vast majority of the people watching these shows. How would you know? Number one. Number two, there's a history that exists within Hollywood. Why is it all of a sudden we're acting like we don't know what's going on? I can understand if it was one person that said it or two people that said it. But you have literally a litany of black actors and actresses that have been complaining about this very thing. You also have the thing about the bloody dress, where they always talk about black actors have to wear this damn dress, right? It was one of the things that Dave Chappelle, spoke about when he was on Oprah's show, where he said, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't want to wear this dress, right? These are things that they talk about. So for Vlad to act like as if he doesn't understand what she's talking about, or to simplify it or distill the conversation down to, oh, why don't you just go out there and make your own movies? I'm like, you would know, because you have how many movies in your filmography? How many? 0. But you would know how easy it is just to just flippantly say, "Oh, just go out there and do your own thing. Go do your own movies." He said it so flippantly, and that's what annoyed me. Number one. Number two, why are you the one commenting on this? Why are you the one commenting on it? It's not affecting you, and it's quite frankly none of your business. So why are you commenting on it? That's the part that was annoying me. Like, Vlad had this nerve to feel like he had a right to put his opinion out there, and his opinion should be weighed. Why? Why should your opinion be weighed on this matter? You have no experience dealing with this at all. At all. So why were you so keen on going? And then he made the dumbest point of them all. And I'm glad that Michael Jai White addressed it in that soundbite at the very end, where he said, it doesn't matter if the person has money. That doesn't mean that their feelings and the emotions that they're going through are not real. I'm lost. So if you have $10 million walking out in your pocket, and you're walking down the street, and somebody calls you some type of racial slur, you're gonna tell me you ain't gonna feel it just because you have money? Let's cut the BS. There are a lot of people who have money who are sensitive to insults, quite literally. There are a lot of rich people with money that their skin is as thin as paper. As thin as paper. So for you to say, oh, nobody wants to hear about it, you're telling her to do something that other people don't do. Vlad himself, who's a millionaire, I've seen him whine and moan and bitch about things that people have said about him, and responded to, well, you have money, so why are you responding? I mean, why are you responding? But he's telling her, oh, no, you don't need to respond. Nobody feels sorry. Like, man, cut it out. She wasn't asking anybody to feel sorry for her. She was talking about something that she didn't like that was taking place. That not only affects her, but affects other people like her. So for you to come out here and for you to start commenting on it, somebody got to ask a question like, oh, time out. What qualifies you to even speak, and why should we even be taking you seriously? Why? So these are my thoughts, man. That's why I was annoyed with him. And if you notice, every guest of color that he's brought on this show has agreed with her. He's the only one that holds that position. The reason is because he cannot understand it, because he himself has not gone through it. So of course he can't understand it. So for him to just say, oh, get over it, is really, really offensive. That's what I feel. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you on the next show. Peace.